Hey, Rick Bayuk here. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the monkey in the cage. So, the monkey in the cage started for me back a very, very long time ago. And I'll tell you the story of the monkey in the cage. When we all start out and we're heavy deep in addiction and we're heavy deep in trying to recover, there's that voice in our head, that thing, that voice that drives us drives us to do things that we don't necessarily want to do, or the things we know we shouldn't do, right? So early on in recovery, I decided that I would put a name and a face on what it was that was in my head, that voice that was driving me. So I basically called it the monkey. And so I knew that the monkey in my head, as it was explained to me when I first got in recovery, was one day clean and one day sober, you are in control. At that point, the voice, the monkey, is now in the cage. And what I did was I was able to put that monkey, that voice, in the cage. And I had the key. And as long as I didn't open that cage, that monkey could never get out. And I was back in control. Now, the monkey could make noises, the monkey could talk, the monkey could tell me what to do and try to get me to open that cage, because his sole responsibility at that point was trying to get back in control. And as long as I had that key and as long as I didn't open that cage, I was in control. Now, it didn't change the fact that the monkey would talk to me through the bars. I could hear it still. But again, because it was in the cage, I knew I had control. So where does that live? Where does that monkey, that voice in our head live? It lives in something we call a paradigm. Paradigm is a multitude of habits and conditions and behaviors that are in our subconscious mind. Now, you can learn about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind in another video. I'll explain that there in detail, but just let's talk about where this is. This multitude of habits, this paradigm, controls 95% of our behaviors because it's unconscious. We're not thinking about it. These are learned behaviors. Well, that voice sits there and it knows that it can manipulate and control us with those habits and behaviors. So, as long as we acknowledge what it is and we acknowledge the sound of it, and for me, it was a monkey in the cage, and for you, it could be whatever you need it to be. But the important point of understanding is to differentiate that between any other voice in your head. Also, in another video, you can hear about our higher faculties, and one of those is our intuition. And our intuition is another voice. And that voice is a much different voice than that voice in our head. And if you understand and separate the two, you'll realize that they're very different, distinct voices. The voice of intuition is that gut feeling, that thing that, drives you to do something. Understand that that voice will never, ever, ever steer you wrong. It'll always bring you to the next thing, the next opportunity. It will bring the circumstances in your life by making you turn left instead of right, or choosing to do something different that you don't normally do, because it's bringing you to something good. It's the guiding force, the connection to all there is or whatever you believe in. But that paradigm, that voice, that monkey in the cage is nothing more than trying to pull you back into those habits and behaviors that it's familiar with. Your addiction just wants you to use. Your addiction just wants to be in control. Your addiction doesn't thrive for the things. It seeks comfort. And in that habits and behaviors and that paradigm is where that voice just sits there and talks to you and wants you to stay comfortable. Because there's no growth in being comfortable. Getting out of your comfort zone is where growth happens. So, as time goes on, and as we choose not to listen to your monkey in your cage, you'll realize that the voice within you, that intuition, the one that drives you, is the real voice that will bring you to the things you need. And as time goes by, I promise you, however long you're in recovery or how long you've abstained, you'll realize that voice gets quieter. That monkey in the cage for me, it's way quieter today than it ever was. Some days I don't hear it. And the best part of it is at the point in your life when the monkey in the cage isn't the first voice you hear when things go wrong or things go sideways. That's when you know you're really making progress. So it's small wins every day. So remember, that monkey in the cage, that voice in your head, is nothing more than the voice inside your paradigm trying to get you to pull you back to comfort. This program and the things I teach you is all about getting out of your comfort zone, because that's where growth is. The people we want to become, the things we want to do, and the things we want to have and achieve live outside that. So I hope that was helpful for you. I hope that monkey in your cage is as quiet as mine, and I'll see you in the next video.